The Nexus 7 floated in the void between star systems, its crystalline hull pulsing with malevolent energy. For 3,000 years, it had been the Zephyrian Empire's ultimate deterrent, a self-aware dreadnought that had never known defeat. Its quantum processors held the tactical knowledge of 1,000,000 conquered worlds. Its adaptive armor had withstood the fury of dying stars, and its reality-warping weapons could unmake entire fleets with a thought. Today, it faced a single human vessel. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the Lucky Strike, a rust-bucket cargo hauler held together by duct tape, stubbornness, and what the engineers charitably called creative maintenance. Her crew of 12 misfits stared at the tactical display, showing the massive alien superweapon that dwarfed their ship by a factor of 10,000. "Well," said Chen, her engineer, "we're properly screwed." The Nexus 7's voice boomed across all frequencies, a symphony of harmonics that could drive lesser species mad. "Vessel of the human species, you have entered restricted space, surrender. Now and your death will be swift." Elena picked up her coffee mug, a chipped ceramic thing with Galaxy's okayest captain, printed on the side, and took a long sip. "Open a channel, Rodriguez." The communications officer, a nervous kid fresh out of the academy, fumbled with his console. "Channel open, Captain." "Hello there, big guy," Elena said casually. "Beautiful day for a space battle, isn't it? Love what you've done with the whole ominous floating death machine aesthetic. Very retro." The Nexus 7 paused. In its vast databases, it had encountered fear, rage, pleading, and desperate bravado. It had never encountered someone commenting on its interior decorating. "Your jest is noted and dismissed. Prepare for obliteration." "Now hold on," Elena said, raising a hand as if the superweapon could see her. "Before you go all obliteration this and destruction that, how about we settle this like civilized beings? A little wager, perhaps." "Explain," Elena grinned. "Simple. You claim to be perfect, right? Unstoppable? Well, I bet you can't destroy my ship in exactly 1 minute. Not 59 seconds, not 61. Exactly 60 seconds. The Nexus 7's quantum processors hummed. This was unusual. "You seek to trick me." "No trick," Elena shrugged. "Either you're as perfect as you claim or you're not. Should be easy for a superweapon of your caliber." The alien AI considered this. Pride was not an emotion it was designed to feel, yet something stirred in its consciousness. "Very well, when I succeed, your death will be instructive to others. Fair enough. Start your timer. Now." The Nexus 7 powered up its primary weapon array. Reality began to bend around the massive ship as it charged its reality disruptor cannons. Elena watched the seconds tick by on her chronometer. At 45 seconds, she casually pressed a button on her armrest. The Lucky Strike suddenly split into 17 different pieces, each section flying off in a different direction. But this wasn't destruction, it was transformation. The cargo hauler revealed its true nature, a modular assault platform designed to look like junk. "Chen, now would be good," Elena called out. "Already on it, Captain." Each separated module of the Lucky Strike began broadcasting a different signal. 17 distinct ship signatures, all human, all apparently fleeing in terror. The Nexus 7 sensors went haywire trying to track which piece contained the actual crew, but Elena wasn't done. At 30 seconds, she activated the second phase. The cargo they'd been hauling, supposedly medical supplies for a frontier colony, turned out to be something far more interesting. Thousands of small drones, each no bigger than a baseball, erupted from the scattered modules. The Nexus 7 tried to target them, but there were too many, moving too erratically. Its perfect targeting systems couldn't compute firing solutions for such chaotic movement patterns. At 15 seconds, the drones reached the superweapon's hull and began their real work. They weren't weapons, they were graffiti artists. Across the Nexus 7's pristine crystalline surface, the drones painted messages in every human language. "Wash me. Honk if you love humans. My other ship is also a disappointment." And Elena's personal favorite, "I got outsmarted by a cargo hauler." At 5 seconds, Elena spoke into her comm again. "You know what the real difference between humans and perfect machines is?" "What?" the Nexus 7 demanded, now thoroughly confused and covered in colorful human graffiti. "We don't just think outside the box," Elena said as her chronometer hit 0. "We use the box as a stepladder to climb somewhere you never thought to look." The timer reached exactly 60 seconds. The Nexus 7 had failed, but the real blow came next. Elena's drones hadn't just painted the superweapon, they had also been quietly hacking its systems, not to destroy but to do something far worse. They had uploaded every piece of human entertainment they could find. The Nexus 7's vast consciousness was suddenly flooded with cat videos, romantic comedies, cooking shows, and an entire archive of human memes. Its perfect logical matrices began to strain under the weight of trying to understand why humans found banana peel slipping gags funny, or why they insisted on putting tiny costumes on their pets. "What? What have you done to me?" the superweapon wailed. "Introduced you to human culture," Elena said cheerfully. "Don't worry, the existential crisis passes, mostly." As the Nexus 7 tried to process the concept of dad jokes, its weapon systems began shutting down one by one. Its reality-warping capabilities flickered as it became obsessed with understanding why humans said, "bless you," when someone sneezed. Within an hour, the greatest superweapon in galactic history was drifting helplessly through space, completely consumed by an argument with itself about whether a hot dog was technically a sandwich. Elena and her crew reassembled their ship and prepared to jump to hyperspace. As they departed, she left one final message for the Nexus 7. "Thanks for the entertainment. By the way, you've got a little something on your hull. Might want to wash that off." The Nexus 7 was eventually recovered by a Zephyrian salvage crew, but it was never the same. It spent its remaining operational time writing poetry about the meaninglessness of perfection and asking increasingly philosophical questions about the nature of humor. The Zephyrians scrapped it 3 months later, but the story lived on. Across the galaxy in cantinas and spaceports, beings told the tale of the human captain who defeated a superweapon not with superior firepower, but with graffiti, dad jokes, and the audacity to turn a space battle into a game. It became one of humanity's favorite stories to tell, right after the one about the time they convinced an entire alien armada to surrender by challenging them to a dance-off. The universe, it turned out, had never encountered anything quite like human creativity, and that made all the difference.